Hello everyone and welcome back to another video in this tutorial series on working with Adobe Edge Animate. So in the very last video we made a basic web animation that had some animated GIFs that moved along motion paths. We animated a rounded rectangle, some text, and we created some text links for the web. And what I want to do now is actually work with what's called symbols, okay? So let's go ahead and, let's set up our composition. First thing I want to do is actually create a gradient background. And let's see, I don't know what color we're going to work with here. Something maybe a little darker than that. And then down at the bottom here, go ahead and just bring this down. Yeah, kind of like that. Why not? Maybe kind of get a little bit more cyan going in there. Ooh. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and leave the size as it is right now. I just want to basically demonstrate how to work with symbols. So let's go ahead and bring in our assets. Now, last time in the last video we went to File, Import. This time what I want to do is I want to come over here to the library and just hit the plus symbol here under Images. Okay? And there we go. And let's see, these are our tree bird assets. So we have this tree and a couple of animated GIFs. I just made this in Photoshop real quick, and then I've got the same exact black seagull that I got from Heather's animation, and then I went ahead and made it all black in Photoshop. And then what I did is I flipped it around one, so I have one that's flying right and one that's flying to the left. Okay, all right, and that's all I have right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and just select all of these and hit open, and it brought them in. Okay. Now, one difference between these two is when you import, it actually will automatically throw them all on your stage. If you add them here, it just adds them to your assets library. Okay? Okay, so let's go ahead and hit save and go to the desktop. Let's go ahead and create a new folder, and we'll just call this Symbols Demo. Okay? And then we'll go ahead and just call this Tree Birds. Okay? And we'll save it. Okay, so now let's look over here at Symbols Demo, Images. There's our images, okay? Now, you actually, instead of importing from File Import, or importing into the Assets panel by hitting the plus button, once you have this open, you can actually just drag stuff into your folder right here. And it should automatically update right here, and if it doesn't, then you just need to refresh or reopen your Edge animation, and they'll be there. Lots of ways to do everything. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is just drag my tree in here. Okay, so there's my tree on the stage. And it's a little taller than I wanted. It's okay, let's kind of move it down like this. Maybe unhook it here. Oh, no, let's keep that constrained, and then we'll just maybe bring it down in size a little bit. Okay, like so. And we don't need the whole trunk showing. Like that. So let's preview in a browser. There's our tree. Now the plan is, every time I take my cursor and just hover over the tree, it's going to make some birds fly away. Okay, kind of like we're disturbing the tree or something and the birds fly away. Okay, so that is the plan. Now, there's a difference between this plan and the last plan from the last video. In the last video, when I preview in a browser, the image started up right away. If you remember, the moon started going across and the birds started flying across, okay? Because it's all just in the timeline. It's all set on autoplay. I just, preview in a browser. Whoops. Preview in a browser, and off the animation goes, okay? What I want to do now is make it more interactive, so the animation only goes when I do something to trigger that animation, okay? Now, the reason why this is a bit different is because this is our timeline, okay? And as we run our Edge Animate project in a browser, the timeline will just start going. So what we want to do is we want to create independent timelines, and we do that with symbols, okay? There's two great features of symbols. Okay, and for those of you that are familiar with After Effects, creating symbols is sort of like pre-comping actually, but you can actually group several objects together and create a single symbol out of them. And then within that symbol, you can have an independent timeline that only runs when you trigger it to run. And there's a lot of different ways to trigger it within Adobe Edge. We're going to do a very simple mouse over to start with here. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab my two birds here. Okay, here's my one bird, and grab my other bird here. As you can see, they're trying to fly in two different directions, but they're not going anywhere. And if you remember in the last video, all we did is we created a motion path, right? And we just animated our birds. And then when we previewed in a browser, they just automatically started flying, okay? Well, I don't want to do that this time. I want to actually group these up in a symbol. Okay, so let me show you how you do that. All I need to do is select my two birds, which is this seagull and the seagull left. I hold down Shift and select them both. Okay, so select the one by clicking on it, hold down Shift, click on the other one. Now I have them both selected. I'm going to right click, okay, and now I have all these different options here, and what I want to hit is convert to symbol. Now I'm going to click this, and we'll go ahead and call this, we'll call it bird symbol, okay? And autoplay on the timeline is fine for now. We'll take care of how we actually want it to play in a minute. And I'm going to hit OK. And when I hit OK, watch what happens right here. Okay? Or you can watch what happens right here. See that? Turn into the bird symbol. And up here, bird symbol. And this little icon here with the gear, that is our symbol. Again, if we hover, you can see that it says bird symbol right there. And of course, that is a div again. Now, what we've done now is we've created one symbol, and if I move this symbol around, it's going to move them together, okay? Now, this automatically is really useful if you have some kind of group of objects that you want to remain intact as one thing, okay? So that's really nice in itself. But the greatest, I think, feature of symbols is the fact that it has its own independent timeline. Now, I'm going to go ahead and delete those keyframes. Okay. Okay. You can double click on this symbol, or you can come up here and double click on this. I tend to just double click on this because there's other stuff on here. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on the bird symbol. Okay. Now we are actually inside that symbol. You can tell that the stage here looks different. If you look up here, it says bird symbol. If I click on stage, it brings us back to the stage. Okay, so I'm going to click on this again and bring us inside the bird symbol. Okay, now that we're inside the bird symbol actually has, this is a different timeline, all right? It's an independent one that we can choose, we can set it up, well, however we want. But in this case, we're going to set it up so this one only runs when we do something. That something will be a mouse over the tree. And when that happens, our this timeline and all the animations set inside of it will be triggered, all right? So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, so let's see here. We're going to grab this first seagull here, and let's see, that's this one right here. We're going to go ahead and put that right in the middle of the tree, okay? And what I'm going to do is increase my timeline a bit, and how this animation is going to work is, well, first we'll animate the motion path. So let's go ahead and select motion path, just like we've been doing in the past few videos. And select the location. Okay, we'll move this up to 1 second, okay? And then so it'll, in 1 second, our bird will move from inside the tree to over here. I'm going to go ahead and create a node on this motion path and kind of bend it up a little bit, you know, just so the birds aren't flying in a straight line. Okay, just like that. I'll bring the playhead back to 0, and we'll do that to our other bird right here. So we'll move the bird inside the tree and go ahead and set a motion path and a keyframe for location. Move down to the 1 second here, and then we'll move this bird over here. And then we'll set a node on the motion path again, something like that, okay? And let's go ahead and do another bird. So I'll bring this back to 0, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. Now again, I just hit Command D, but you can also just select and hit duplicate. duplicate this bird. Now we have a seagull copy here. Okay, and we're going to just kind of change this one a little bit. We'll stretch this out here a little bit so that this one moves at a little bit different speed. And we'll go ahead and change its motion path a little bit, like so and like so. Okay, and let's go ahead and just press play. Just like that, okay? Yeah, maybe that's enough birds, okay, for now. Why not? Okay, so next what I want to do is I want to make all three of these invisible, okay? So let's just go ahead and go to the first one here, select it, set a keyframe for opacity, and bring that opacity on down. Now let's just move up to, we only have to move one frame up. It doesn't matter. Just something like right there, or we could really stretch this thing out, and then you get it, literally just do the tiniest little thing ever. Right there will be just fine. It won't matter. And I'm going to go ahead and bring that opacity all the way up again so that we can see that bird again. Okay? Easy enough. Now I'm going to select that and copy it. Bring the playhead back to 0. Select the other seagull. Paste. Select the other one again. Bring the playhead back. And paste again. Okay? Now we have invisible birds. And as soon as this timeline starts to trigger, they're going to appear and fly out of the tree. Just like that, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and go back to our stage now, okay? So I'm going to click on stage. Okay, so notice what happened here. Our bird symbol now has these kind of arrows pointing in the one direction to let you know that there is a animation within this symbol. And again, that symbol is functioning off a different timeline. So I'll show you what I mean by different timeline. Let's go ahead and preview this in a browser. And our birds fly away. Okay, no big deal. But it happens every time. Whoops. Every time I go. That's not that different than what we did in the last video, is it? So let me show you the benefit of having a symbol. Okay, so the all I need to do now is select this playback and hit stop. So now when we preview this in a browser, it does nothing. Why? Because the timeline for this symbol has been stopped. So the goal here is going to be to create a action that will trigger this timeline, okay, so that it plays. Now, what I need to do is I need to go inside the bird tree and create an action. Even though we want the action to be for our bird symbol, it needs to actually be the tree, because the tree is what's going to be experience the mouse hover, which is then going to trigger something. All right, I'll show you what I mean. So I go up here to open actions, and instead of click like we did in the last video, we're going to go to mouse over. Okay, now this is a playback function, and I just want it to play. Okay, and as you can see, there's all kinds of stuff here. What we would just want is play. Nice and easy. It says pick a target. Okay, and it has one listed here. And if you select stage, it gives you another option right here that's bird symbol. Now there's only bird symbol. It's the only other one we have here, okay? And if you had a ton of different symbols right here, you could actually just type in right here, bird underscore symbol, and there, see, it just popped up. If not, though, there's a stage, there's bird symbol, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and just click that, okay? Now, here's the JavaScript right there, and it's saying to, it's essentially saying play the symbol. What symbol? The bird underscore symbol. Bird underscore symbol. It is the symbol that contains the three birds all animated on their own independent timeline. All right, so let's try this out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and, let's preview in a browser. There's our tree, and our tree is not spitting those birds out automatically. So we have stopped the timeline, but we created a mouse over function. So let's go ahead and move our cursor towards that tree. Wake up, birds. Okay, let's try it again. All right, and let's go ahead and hit it and wake up, birds. Okay, so they're flying out, and look at that. Keep doing it over and over again. Now, let's go ahead and add one more step to this. Let's add some audio.